Let's look at our XML writer example. We're going to be looking at the reading and writing folder, and then within there, the XML writer project. As you can see here, we're going to be talking about the XML text writer. And this works very similar to working with the XML text reader in similar ways, but there are differences. Now, you can see we just have an XML text writer instantiated to a variable here. We pass in our file name here, which is up here, as a constant string. No reference to the text encoding, which we're not worried about. And we will do a try block with a catch if there's an exception. And then you can just write out the exception to the console. We're going to do some indenting, so we have our object here, and we're just going to tell the object to actually indent the XML, and then we're going to just have an indentation of 6. We're not going to worry about XML namespaces. We'll have that false. We'll do a start document, write start document, just to get that started. We'll put that start element in. You could start with root if you wanted to. The double quotes are going to signal the null reference, and there's no value. So then we're going to specify our start element, as you can see here. Give that name here without any namespaces, so just the quotes for the ID in quotes. You can write attributes by writing attribute string, and I recommend using the attributes quite a lot. You're going to put the double quotes in there for your namespace again. We're not going to be placing our namespaces here. We're not going to worry about it, so just double quote. And the value here, which should be true for both of these. It could be false, whatever you want. And then we're going to write the value of our particular node here for that element. And then we're going to write our end element here. This is going to close that out, as you can see. And then we're going to actually do the first name, last name, type, the type of the account, etc. We could put these as attributes as well. Add them here, add additional attributes after this. And that would be a normal way to look at XML. We can just continue to do this as we move down. It's great to not put any formatting in your XML, and you can just format as you need to. Keep your XML pure. Working with XSL is another example of working with the presentation and the actual data level, XML to XSL, and you should do that within your XML. If we look within XML Spy, you'll see that we have our information here, as you can see, nested within the account, and you see our attributes here as well, with the value as we specified. As you can see here. And then as we slide down, you can see we have the last right end element, and then we have the closing right end element. That's going to close out this and nest the other elements within this. As you can see, because we actually have the account, and then there's no end element immediately after the account. So we didn't write that end element. We wrote another start element, and the .NET namespaces are going to keep track of that. The XML text writer is going to keep track of that for us. So that's very easy to nest your elements very nicely, as you need to, in a very easy way. And then a flush is just going to write whatever needs to be written, and that's all we need to do. We just need to, at the end, if the XML writer object isn't null, then we just want to close it. Do that in the finally. After we're done with that try loop, nothing had to be caught, and then at the end, finally, we're going to just close that out, and everything's going to be fine. You can debug this as you need to. It's just going to write an output to a particular folder. You will get an exception if you don't actually check for an exception here. Place this within the try. Because it's outside, when you actually try to open that to that file, if that folder doesn't exist, then you're going to get an exception. So be careful there.